Hey, Troy Bakewell here with Indie Gear Solutions, and behind me you'll see that we have our Campoe RV, which I'm going to give you a video tour here in a second. Notice I said Campoe and not camper, and that's on purpose. Campoe is actually an acronym we came up with to kind of describe what we use this thing for, and it stands for Camera, Audio, Mobile PO, and Electric. And the first thing you'll notice about it is that it's kind of an unusual RV. The first 2/3 of it is a normal motorhome, but the rear of it is like a truck with a liftgate. They call it a garage. It's a really rare RV that they built for these guys who race motorcycles and they race cars, and it's built on a heavy-duty Ford F-750 chassis with a 300 horsepower cat diesel engine in it that can tow a house. These guys use them to put their tools in the back or their motorcycles in the back, and they built them for a few years, but they're really hard to find. Anyway, this works out great for our application because with one driver you can have your camera truck and your audio truck on set all the time and always have a motorhome, which can be used as a mobile PO, which is what it's usually used for, or you can put actor holding in there or HMU or whatever. Sometimes when you're on a really short set, maybe a couple pages or something like that, and you don't want to have the expense of bringing out the porta potties, having a single bathroom on set can be a lifesaver and save you a lot of money. So it's a really cool little vehicle that has a lot of applications. In the back we have all of our camera equipment, 2 camera setups, camera carts, video village carts, the audio cart. We also have overflow electric. We have some big HMI heads in there for big night exteriors and a lot more 60 amp cable. But what really makes this thing cool is that under the jockey boxes here, we've removed all the storage for regular camping type uses, and we've installed auxiliary Onan diesel quiet generators. And it's really cool. We have 2 12,500 watt Onan quiet diesel generators, which is the biggest they make, and a single 10,000 watt. So we basically have the equivalent of a smaller tow plant right in the belly of this thing, ready to go. What's cool about the diesels is they're very quiet. In fact, I have the coach diesel generator running right now, so there's actually a total of 4 on board, the coach and then the 3 auxiliary generators. And it's great for the G&E guys. They just press a button and it starts up and it goes and it draws fuel off the fuel tanks. And diesels are of course more efficient for generators than gasoline engines. That's the one downside of the Hondas, is that they burn a lot of fuel and you got to be sending PAs to get gas all the time. With this thing you just pull up and you go. Now of course the downside is that you have to have the RV or the Campoe somewhere close to set if you're going to be doing a big night exterior. Sometimes it's nice just to have auxiliary power. That's the bottom line. Anyway, I'm going to give you a tour of this thing. First I'm going to show you a couple of the features of the exterior, and then we'll go inside and take a look and you get a little tour of what it's like. Alright, so right behind the driver we have our single first 12.5K generator. Notice that we have the exhaust from all of them coming out on this side of the RV versus the side where people enter and exit it. Also, all the output is through a regular 60 amp Bates, 240 volts. You got 2 more around the other side. Alright, right behind the passenger side of the cab, right by the entrance door to the coach, we have our second Onan 12.5K diesel generator. You just press the button to start, and again 60 amp Bates, 240 volts out. And last but not least, we have our third auxiliary generator, an Onan 10,000 watt quiet diesel. Same thing, you just press the button to start and boom, there's the 60 amp Bates. 240 volts out. So this is the rear of the RV. Notice we have a very large liftgate that folds down so you can get the carts on and off very easily. I don't have anybody here to help me with the camera, so I'm not going to bring it up and down for you, but you get the idea. It's a liftgate. In the back we have big lights that light up the back, so it's really easy to work off this thing. Let's go inside and I'll show you that. Alright, so this is the inside facing the rear. Again, I don't have any help with the camera here, so I'm going to have to shoot it both ways. But this is before the slide out comes out. Notice that we have kind of a regular camp area. We have a stove and a microwave that you're probably never going to use, a fridge. The cool thing about the kitchen area is they have these covers over the sink and the stove so that you can use the space as, a PO or office space. You can set stuff on it, maybe a printer, or of course the berth right behind you works great for putting the printers on. In the back we have a bathroom to the right here. And then the door there goes to the garage area where the camera and audio stuff is. So basically this is the part that we'd use as the motorhome. I'm going to keep this angle. I'm going to open up the slide out so you can get a look at how much bigger it is. Alright, so this is with the slide out open. I don't know if you can really capture it on camera, but there's just a lot more room in here. I mean, there's a couple steps here. It just opens it up. Again, there's room to put, of course you're not seeing back here, but nice big HMU table. There's all kinds of room to add foldable tables in here and just open up the space for work. Also, it's just a comfortable place for, you know, if you want HMU or talent just to hang out in, whatever you want. But anyway, I think when I shoot the other way, it'll kind of give you a better idea for it. But there you go. All right, so this is the inside of the RV facing forward. So from the previous shot, the camera's right next to the fridge and the door to the bathroom. Anyway, you can see the space opens up pretty nice. The berthing area, or the little bed above the cabin, is kind of neat. You can, of course, somebody could take a nap up there, but what we usually use it for is I have a piece of plywood, a really thin piece of plywood that goes over the cushion, and then you can put printers up there, you can put walkie chargers up there, people throw their backpacks up there. It just kind of helps to keep the place uncluttered. When HMU is using it, that area comes in really handy for stuff as well. Also notice I have a regular curtain rod back here. I don't know if you can hear me, but this curtain closes to block off the driving area, and it works out really nice for that. Also, you know, sometimes wardrobe will hang their clothes in here on all the door handles usually. But it's a pretty multifunctional space, and you can use it for whatever you want. Notice right now that the generator is running, and it's still very quiet in here. I don't have the air conditioners going, but when the big Jennies are running, it can get a little noisy in here. In terms of, you know, if you got some A talent, you might need to get them a Star Wagon or something like that. The other thing I wanted to point out is I have two air conditioner units in here. When I first got it, I only had one, and it works great with one. However, if you're shooting in Atlanta or Louisiana and it's hot and humid out, and people are going in and out of the door like crazy, it tends to kind of fall behind a little bit. The other nice thing about having two big units in here is that, you know, early in the day when you're at call time, it cools down really fast, because, you know, in the summertime it can get pretty warm in here when it's parked, especially if you're shooting splits or overnights. So the dual generators works out really nice. So next I'm going to show you the truck area of it, where we keep you know, the camera and audio and the electric stuff. It's going to be tough because I don't have anybody to help me, and I'm not going to puke it, but you'll get at least an idea what it's like back there. Right, so in this area I just decided to shoot it handheld because it's pretty tight in here. Oh, there's some junk in here. But anyway, in here we have the two camera carts. And these are homemade carts. They're pretty awesome. They're big, they're large, and the cool thing about them is they have these drawers. They have 4 drawers in both carts, so that ACs just love it. They can just throw stuff in drawers instead of just throwing stuff on the carts. We have extra storage up here, which right now we have a couple drones. I'll have a video on the drone stuff later. Over here we have some auxiliary ballasts for the auxiliary heads. There's another head behind here I'll show you. Over here, this is usually storage for tripods. These two shelves work out really nice for charging batteries for cameras. They can throw their chargers on here, and of course there's a power plug right here. Back here we have our audio cart. We can see the hostess tray set up and built. This thing comes off. This is actually an RV cover, so when I store it, when it's not in use, I put the cover on it to kind of protect the fiberglass. Then over here we have the Video Village cart, and then we have other drawers, auxiliary drawers for camera and audio. Works out really nice. So this is the of course a fire extinguisher there. So this is it. The roll-up doors power just rolls up, and then of course there's a lift kit. Let me give you a shot from this angle. So we got a 6K and a 4K Fresnel head. The Fresnels don't get used as much. And by the way, maybe your DP will like this. This is a old LTM head with, I don't know if you can see, less than an hour on it. And then of course here we have auxiliary. We have another 900 feet of Bates cable for big long runs. So if you have a huge night exterior and you want to run a lot of cable, sometimes it's actually faster just to run cable, but if you want to run all the big heads and you need a lot of light for a big night exterior, then you're going to want to use the generators on the RV. And this cable, I mean, we've got 900 feet plus what's on the regular G&E package. So additionally, I forgot to mention, of course, we have these director's chairs. These come off the truck as soon as we get to the get the set, or get the location. So they usually go in the production van or something like that. They can be stored in here. There's extra space for them, but I usually pull it off. So anyway, that's the back area, and you get a feel for it, and hopefully this video helps you out, and we'll see you next time.